Hey guys, welcome back to the Spooky Island, or we're back with another videos. Today, I didn't think after finishing my Arcane reactions I was going to do a video like this, but here we are. I'm here. I am very late, I must admit. I basically had to wait for everyone in my house to go to sleep to come down and do this video, because I spent all day today watching and working on my Arcane reactions. All of them are on the channel now. If you want to check them out, please do. Helps me out on the channel. Very happy with how my reactions turned out. I've got all of my season 1, all of my season 2 reactions on the channel in the Arcane playlist, so if you want to check those out, please do. Subscribe if you're new. And this video I wanted to make because I kind of wanted to talk. I don't know why I'm glistening. I look like I'm from Arcane. There we go. The shirt that's been on all day. Anyway, the reason I wanted to make this video was because after finishing the show, you can see in my reaction, I was convinced that Jinx was gone. To me, it felt like a fitting end to her character, being able to save Vi. Something that I feel like she's always wanted and never been able to, because obviously the character that she become, the person that she become with Jinx, and I was like, there's a possibility of her not obviously being dead, but I think most of us were convinced until I look on Twitter, and obviously there are some people who are not happy with the ending. There are some people who are confused. There are some people who wanted more. There are some people who are incredibly happy, and I fall in the bracket. Now, I'll talk about my personal opinions at the end of this video if you want to check that out. But the reason I'm making this video is to talk about the ending, specifically what happens with Jinx. You can tell by the title and the thumbnail that this video, I'm going to talk about a lot of things that people are speculating and bringing up with the ending. Now, I'm going to put pictures on screen for you guys to see, but basically this theory, and I feel like it's becoming more than a theory and actually truth now, is that Jinx is still alive and she is not dead. And the way that this goes is, obviously, we have the ending, we have the very cool shots of Jinx as she sacrifices herself. She's falling down, and we see her hug Vander, what is left of Vander and his character, and we kind of get just a massive blue and pink explosion, and that is it. Kind of a fitting end, in my opinion, for her character, and kind of something that I would not be like mad if that was the end for that character. We obviously know that this show has got no continuation. This is it. Season 2 is done for Arcane, and I'll talk about what I think might happen in the future with other League of Legends projects, and why people are thinking, and some people are saying that this ending felt a little bit rushed, and I'll touch on that at the end as well. But now I want to talk about the ending itself. We see an explosion, and there are a lot of people on Twitter who are talking about, you can see on screen, the moment where Jinx is in the explosion, and you can see, for a brief second, you can see her trail of shimmer, which is obviously, key to stuff in the game, but obviously in this show they made it very key to show that the pink kind of extract of a trail was a massive part of her character. Especially in this show, we see it happen quite a lot in season 2. Some very cool action sequences, and obviously some very key moments for this show. Now, that is basically pretty convincing. If anything, I was happy to believe that, and then obviously the thing that is very convincing is the fact that the big thing about this show is that the ending was always going to be a big thing. They stated that themselves. The creators themselves have said that while talking about this show, and the final lines and the final scenes of the show. The final scene in this show is Caitlyn doing research while she has the monkey bomb head, as you can see, and she's looking at blueprints of the place itself, and she basically targets in, and you can see the camera pans in on an air duct, which is a vent or whatever you want to call it, and then you see her smile, which seems to me as if they are basically leaving it to an open ending, and maybe I'll touch on that in a minute, but obviously that is very quite probably even more convincing that she has made it out. And the probably one of the biggest things is the very last shot of this show is always going to be key. It was always going to be key. They said that themselves. But the last shot of this show is a blimp, which is flying off in the distance, and that is it. And at first I was wondering, I was like, why would they have that as the last scene? Obviously it goes to echo one of the opening shots of season 1 in episode 1 we got, but I think there was obviously always going to be more meaning, and there is. There is. We see that, and that is because the whole point of this scene we have is Powder herself, when she's younger, says that she one day she wants to be able to ride one, and she wants to be in one, and one day she will be in one. So to me, and to everyone else who is basically but explaining this to a lot of people, is that Jinx has fallen to her death. She has escaped out the air duct with her pink shimmer trail behind. Vanda, or whatever is left of Vanda, has gone, and she has escaped out the air duct, the air vent. Caitlyn has, done what she's done. She's gone to see what's happened, probably gone to rescue Vi, and then had a look what happened down there in the explosion. Found the monkey bomb head, nothing else. Realised why she couldn't find Jinx's body, maybe come back, did some research herself, found that there is an escape for an air duct, and which is why we see the scene of her smiling. And then the very last shot of this show is someone or something or whoever. There might be 10 people, there might be one person in that blimp, but to me, the person in that is Jinx, and she has gotten away. Now, like I said, this is a thing that has not been confirmed. It is not groundbreaking. Like, it is not something that is 100% true. It could realistically be something that still might get debunked. We might have someone from the show who says that Jinx is dead, in which case I think most people will be in disbelief about. But again, from what we have seen, I think is very, very concrete evidence that Jinx is not dead. And the thing that people will make the thing about is whether it actually matters if we're not going to get any more seasons, which I think is true. But at the end of the day, if we're not going to get any more of Arcane, I feel like it is better to know that Jinx has survived, even after sacrificing herself and having the memory of Vi, or Vi having the memory of her being someone who's done that after everything that she did, and basically being able to change from Powder to Jinx, back to Powder after all those after everything she done and after everything that's happened to her. I think is very, very important. And the thing that makes me hurt the most is Echo had his time, he had his life, he knew and he saw and he lived and experienced his life, like his time with Powder, and the fact that he obviously sat there and he's alone and he put one of the little papers in memory of Jinx's, and obviously him being the person who saved her from killing herself is just sad. And obviously them both knowing that she's not dead, is obviously very heartbreaking, but at the same time, I think you have to understand, and this goes to the people who are kind of not willing to accept that this show has a sad ending, is the fact that whether she is dead or not, this show was never going to have a happy ending. Like, this show is very, very dark and very, very, gritty and grounded. And even though this show has taken season 2 to astronomical levels, like compared to season 1, and maybe too much in places for it to basically ground the ending, I feel like the only problem I had is the fact that I wish we would have got 10 more minutes after the battle instead of like 5 to end the show, just for us to see. If they wanted to have Jinx survive, then they should have showed it maybe in more of a concrete way. Maybe that's the point, I don't know, but and I feel like stuff like people were bringing up Jace and Victor again. I don't think there is anything wrong with their story and their ending. I mean, I think the way that they both kind of repaired each other and their relationship was perfectly done, especially finding out obviously Victor was the one who started him on the path. Anyway, so in my opinion, I think it's a very, very good ending. Whether Jinx is alive or not is up to, I guess, a matter of opinion until something happens. Maybe we're never going to get confirmation. I'm sure we will get something from Christian or the people who work on the show. But in my opinion, after seeing it, everything that people have talked about, I think Jinx is definitely still alive. I believe that whether you are happy or not that this show has lived up to expectation, you cannot expect to have a happy ending in a show like this when we had deaths throughout both season 1 and 2. There were obviously scenes and characters who maybe didn't get enough screen time, but at the end of the day, the one thing I did want to bring up is how I saw just before Act 1 got released that they were talking about how big the finale is, and how they were adamant that it needed to be an hour long, and the studio told them to cut it down to 50 minutes. Now, that 10 minutes could have been key to making people, think that this was rushed and whether it wasn't rushed. I don't personally think it was rushed, but at the end of the day, it's up to a matter of opinion. People are not right or wrong, it's just what you feel with the show. I personally think it is perfect. I have nothing to add other than the fact that I just wish we would have got more after the battle instead of 5, less than 10 minutes. I think it was like 6 or 7 minutes after the battle, just to basically concrete everything. I feel like this show deserves that, but at the same time, maybe we'll see stuff in the future, maybe we won't, we'll have to see. But yeah, that is my version of the ending, and trying to explain it to you guys as best as I can. Thank you to those people who are, going the lengths to kind of put this out there. I feel like it is something that whether you choose to accept or not, is still something that the evidence is there to support an idea that might not just be a theory. I feel like it's more than that, which is why I wanted to do a video like this to kind of explain not just this scene and what happens with her, but the whole ending as a whole. There's a lot of people who, like I said, are having different opinions on certain stuff, which I understand. People allowed their opinions, so just in my opinion, I think this show is perfect. I think season 2 was incredible. The step up from season 1 was just phenomenal, and I will not ever forget a show like this. Especially my favourite character, Echo, was MVP. He was MVP. He got what he deserved after not being in 3-4 episodes of this show. We get the 2 best episodes with episode 7 and episode 9, and he shines in both of them. They're his episodes, and I couldn't be happier. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care and peace.